Hey everyone, Mike Linares here, and welcome to the Code Blue podcast brought to you by Holly Blue, the first one and only social media app created by nurses, specifically for nurses. So think of this as a community made just for you. You guys can download the app and connect with nurses in your area and also boost your knowledge and career. So with me today, we have the one and only Linette Santana with one N. She is the Lifeline nurse, the first-time author of the self-help book called Lifeline, which is helping create better habits and strengthen core foundations of life. Now, this is especially true to help out stressed out nursing students like she was, which inspired her to write the book, as well as really good for burnt out nurses. It's kind of like chicken soup for the nurse's soul, I guess you can say. So what's up?
Hey, thank you for having me on.
Yeah. So before we dive into the book, which we kind of talked about before this episode, why did you choose nursing? And I guess what was the reason behind you going to nursing school? Have you always wanted to be a nurse since you were little?
Okay, so I cannot say, my dreams and aspirations were always to be a nurse. It wasn't. When I was younger or through my first right out of high school, I kind of wanted to do mass communication, journalism, social media, PR, marketing. Can you imagine? So different.
Yeah, of course.
But to be completely honest, I never thought that I would actually be good enough or smart enough to be a nurse. And so I never even thought to get into it until I was done with my associate's degree. And I was like, okay, Linette, what do you want to do? What do you see yourself doing? Truly. And and the craziest thing, from one day to the next, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. My sister, she was in it, and I was like, I know I've always wanted to work with babies. I've always dreamt of being a NICU nurse. I went into it, and it was from the first anatomy class, I was like, what? I didn't know that. And how did that connect to that? And I realized very quickly I was in the right place, thankfully.
Yeah. Wait, so let me get this straight. You were in a totally different field, like business, communications, analytics. I'm just making crap up. I just rolling it all into one. And then you saw your sister doing nursing, so that's when you jumped ship? Okay.
I did. I didn't know. I didn't know long term what I could do with my first degree. And so I was like, you know what? I could see myself working with this group of people long term. And I was like, I know that nurses have the availability or the possibility to work 3 times out of the week, 12-hour shifts. I'm like, that gives me 4 extra days if I wanted to dabble in something else. If I wanted to partake in something else, I could still do it. It's going to give me the time freedom to do it. And that was kind of the cherry on top.
Did
you that was that.
Did you ever feel oh man, now I have to take care of patients and stab them and deal with the blood and poop and then you're like, crap, man, the 3 days off. The 3 days off.
When the exams started rolling in, I was like, I should have been a news reporter. What am I doing here?
Seriously, right?
I'm jumping ship, I'm out.
So did you ask your sister about nursing school before you got in, or?
Yes, I did. And she's a very optimistic woman. And so she was like, Linette, if I could do it, you could do it. And I've always loved school and learning. I will say that. So once I was in it, I realized that I could do it. It's from the outside that there's so much pressure on the medical field and being this superhero person that makes you feel like, can I actually do it? But sky's the limit. You really could.
Yeah. So let's get this straight. So you actually got into nursing school. Your sister graduated before you, or was she in nursing school when you got in? Okay.
She was in nursing school when I got in, but graduated immediately after. So I'm going to say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then nursing school is hard. So let's talk about your struggle. How was your journey? Those eyes.
Does that say enough, my face?
Yeah. Because a lot of our listeners, everyone's it's like military boot camp, right? Everyone's got to jump in that, cold water and get yelled at. And it's a 2-year journey. That's a long time.
It is.
So tell us about it.
Okay, so my nursing school experience, it took me through like the most personal growth that I've ever gone through has been in those 2 years. 100%. I'm a completely different person today than when I was when I walked into that program, for sure. It was definitely challenging. I mean, the exams are back to back. My school didn't believe in free time. It was, you had your 12-hour shift clinicals, back to back, your lab hours, exams, finals.
It's all crammed in there. Yeah.
All together. Like, here you go, take it. Yes.
Dang.
So it definitely was a difficult thing, but it was always this reward right after the difficulty. And I think that's what keeps you going in nursing school.
Yeah.
When you overcome things you never thought you could do.
Mm-hmm.
When you're put in the weird, when you go into clinicals the first time around, you're there with your brand new stethoscope that you don't know how to use.
You're not doing anything. Yeah, you're just sitting off in the corner.
Yes. You're just like, you have this expectation, and then when you see the reality change, and then you start feeling like, I don't know, this sense of adequacy starts to instill, like, I'm doing this? Who do I think I am?
Like, who is this person? Yeah.
Who is this person? You like flip a switch when you're in there. And it's great.
That's the craziest part, right? Because like sometimes, obviously your communications degree wasn't as intense, as nursing. And a lot of people go into it saying like, oh yeah, I majored in such and such and I did really good with barely even studying. And it's like, nursing only 12 units or 10 units a semester. I got this, right?
My God.
And
the hardest schooling I've definitely gone through would have been that, for sure. And
yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. So what I was gonna say is that my school in particular, they had a lot of like, oh, if you don't pass this exam, you're out. Like it was like that. It was like you had the entire program and you could fail 2 classes total, and if you were to fail the second class, you were out of the program.
Oh, what was it 75% passing, or I'm sorry, like
the passing was
80%. Dang. See, mine was 75 on our exams. So
yeah, passing was
crazy. Oh
yeah, they didn't care. They were like, get this, they were very cutthroat, but it kept us on our toes, that's for sure.
So when did you like realize that or everyone goes to that breaking point in nursing school, and we always ask like, when was your breaking point? And I guess how did you view it and how did you overcome it? Like,
unfortunately, my breaking point may have seemed just a bit different, and it's because we all go through things, we all deal with stuff, and for me, I've always been like an anxious person.
Oh really? You? No,
yeah. Oh, you couldn't tell. I'm just messing around. Yes, I have always been someone who I have I have anxiety and I think about things, overanalyze. So when I got into nursing school, one of my biggest obstacles was that it was trying to figure out how to keep my mind calm and not freaking out, essentially. And it came to the point with the loads of work that it was that I didn't know if I could do it. Like I was worried for myself because I figured that I was not being myself. Dang. And so it was actually pretty early on that I began with that self-doubt and that breaking point of, can I even move forward? Did I make the right choice?
Was this in first or second semester, or was this pharmacology? Was it med surg, or?
No, this actually started to happen when we started doing clinicals in hospice.
Oh.
It's the most eye-opening thing that can ever happen to anyone.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Is this for me? Like, I'm not sure if I feel very good here. Yeah, it was wild. You see a lot of things that you don't see firsthand. That's for sure.
Yeah, like you had to deal with people death and dying.
One of the biggest difficulties of people to digest. And so I had never obviously been in a situation like that or environment like that. So my breaking point came more from self-doubt of whether I could be so strong to endure this day in and day out. I mean, nursing school, they're going to teach you off the bat, get used to this. This is what you're going to see every day. And you're like, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm so good. Okay,
yeah.
So you
I
see
know.
it. Different.
One of the hardest things that I had to deal with for death and dying was kids with cancer on the pediatric unit, the oncology. I was like, oh man. And that was crazy for me. So So what did you do to like, I guess, overcome that? Because obviously you're a nurse now and you start next month, I
Yeah.
think, or this month?
Next week.
Next week. Oh man. Woo-hoo.
Next week. Oh my God. I'm so
Oh yeah.
excited.
Yeah. Oh wait, I was trying to high five you. Oh well.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry. I didn't catch on.
It's okay. Okay. So how did you overcome that? And I guess what are some tools that I guess you put in the book? You compiled all this self-help information and put into this neatly organized book, like Chicken
Yeah.
Soup for the Soul. It's called Lifeline Nurse?
Yes.
Or okay.
Yes. Lifeline, and it's basically difficult life changes made simple.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say the way that I got through that self-doubt, that anxiety was definitely in the beginning of my day. I had to fix the perception. That was number one. Like I was like, okay, this is not a very good scenario.
Mm.
It's not very appealing to the eye, I suppose. But what I'm doing here is a very beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I'm caring for someone in their most vulnerable state and their most precious state, getting ready, to depart from this world. And so that's what helped me. Instead of what I was seeing, I had to focus on what I was doing.
Mm.
And it gave me a purpose, and it took me out of it. And then I was like, I would go the next time, and the next time I realized that it was like a process of desensitization.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. And it became easier, and it just became more enjoyable. You get me?
Yeah.
That's kind of what helped me, the perception change of this isn't that bad. I'm actually doing something really good for someone who can't do these things for themselves.
And that's funny you say that, because like they always, like in a lot of like I guess like Tony Robbins or motivational speakers, they always say like, don't focus on the problem, right? Focus on the solution. Don't focus on where you're at now. Lift your eyes up to where you're going.
Yes.
And so the
I
same is
love
true
that.
in nursing, and the same is true in hospice care. It's like you can't look at the situation of being like,
Yes.
oh, this
There's
person
a
has
bigger picture here.
like do the best you can with what you have. And so is this what kind of you put inside your book, or gave you the inspiration for your book, or how did you come up with?
So the inspiration for my book was definitely based on everything that happens around nursing school. So nursing school is a world within a world, but outside of those doors of your school and that hospital, you still have a life. And so if I would have let these external obstacles, barriers, stop me or prevent my mind from being ready to learn and take on what I had to do to reach my end goal, which is to be a registered nurse, I probably would not have made it. And so I think there's a lot of people that struggle with this. They're going through, they really want to accomplish something, and there's so many barriers in the way that either they don't accomplish it or they don't even start. And so I was hoping that this book, I could design it to just get you to move, that little, maybe I could do this, or maybe I've been setting myself short, or
that little tiny doubt.
Revelation. That's why I did it. And nursing school is what allowed me to write that, because that was definitely the hardest time in my life, in all aspects, really in all aspects.
And it's so funny you say that, because like sometimes you just need the momentum and not even the motivation of like, a huge tidal wave. Sometimes you just need a baby step and just focus on one little thing after the other, right?
Yes, absolutely. I actually quoted that. I quoted that.
Really?
So I was like, what? Yeah, I was like, what?
That was taken out of page 34 of
no, I wish I knew what page, but I did. I literally put, I challenge you to just take the first step. You will find that your body thrives on these victories.
Yeah, it's true.
Little things,
victories.
You're like, ooh, a little bit more. Before you know it, you're done. The fastest 2 years of my life were those 2 years of nursing school.
Yeah.
Crazy. Like me thinking I'm starting next week. I'm like, when did that happen?
Crazy,
it seems like I just registered the other day.
And you're going to look back on it saying like, oh my gosh, like you're going to kind of miss nursing school. Maybe you already do, because your friends were there, right? And you guys were like a little like cohort, like a little platoon in a war. And like, people were bombing out and like
send in the troops. There's a catheter issue.
Send in the troop. Like, oh no, someone bombed their exam. They're in the brig, So
yeah.
But so what's like I guess other than like taking the baby steps, do you have any other like key points of inspiration from the book that you want to share with us?
Okay, key points of inspiration.
Wait a minute. Sorry.
Yeah. What?
Your face paused. So I'm gonna
Is your your pause too?
Oh,
Okay, you're good now.
are we
You're
good
good
now?
now.
We
Yeah.
popped out of it. Okay, cool.
Okay.
You were frozen. We had to thaw you out.
I guess something to find inspiration in this book
Mhm.
would be the identifiers. I think that would be it.
Ooh, what is that? Okay, so the identifier is like a hack, right? Or like a tool you can use to get yourself out of a rut.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Okay.
a
Yeah.
lot of the book is like trying to identify you, trying to identify
Ooh.
things that maybe you aren't doing, things that you've been lacking, or maybe the narrative inside your head, or
Yeah, the
like
false narrative you tell yourself all the time.
a false narrative.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think something that could be very inspirational in the book is understanding that, I know this is so cliche, but you can really do whatever you set your mind to, as long as your mind is functioning in your favor.
Yeah.
Like if you have a clear perception of where you want to go and you
Mhm.
don't take no for an answer,
Mhm.
by God, you will get there. You will definitely get there.
It's so true. Okay, so this is perfect because this sets it up, and maybe you've heard of this before. Maybe you put it in your book. But they always say, like, the most important conversation you have is with yourself and the inside your brain. And everything that you're telling yourself, it's like, you're your own worst enemy most of the time. No one's telling you no. Only you are blocking your own shots and telling yourself no. And that's the biggest thing, is like you block all the shots that you don't take. And it's yourself that's telling you not to take the shot.
1,000%.
Which is crazy, right? And it's like you never really think about that. And then the other thing is like so many times, your brain is like a muscle, and you always say like, oh yeah, you usually shut yourself down before like saying, oh, I can't do that. When I think it was Rich Dad Poor Dad, the book, they always say, never tell yourself you can't. Always ask yourself the question, how can I do it? Even if it's impossible, how can you? If it was impossible or was possible, how could you do it if it could be done, right?
Yes, exactly.
So,
It was like before getting into nursing school, it was kind of like that. I was like, I'm terrible at math and science. How am I going to get through pharmacology? How am I going to get through those calculations? How am I going to get through science and all of the anatomy of the body? You'd be surprised the depth of your mind and how much you can learn if you were interested in the topic.
Did you
there's no max.
Were you ever like, I guess, overwhelmed in your prerequisite courses, or just felt overwhelmed, like you couldn't do it? Because I felt that way during anatomy. And I'm like, holy crap, how am I going to memorize all these bones? Like, this is intense.
The only class that did that to me would be chemistry.
Oh, okay.
I despise chemistry with all 110 pounds of me.
All 110? What? All right, put on the record.
No, yes, I don't like it. But everything else, I actually did like. I don't know, weirdly enough. I even liked pharmacology.
What the heck? Okay.
I don't know why. I don't know why that happened.
This interview's done. No, I'm sorry. That's the worst.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, if you were to ask me a question now, I'd be like, I would try to map it out in every single nerve ending in my brain. But while I was taking the class, I enjoyed it. I don't know. I found enjoyment in a lot of things that I never thought that I would like.
Yeah,
got over a bunch of stuff I never thought that I could.
That's the hardest part. I guess, what is a hack for liking something that you probably are, you're finding difficult to like? Do you turn it into a game, or what do you do?
I have the perfect answer to this.
Oh, perfect. Yes.
Perfect answer. What keeps me engaged in something that I dislike or I'm having a hard time learning is the very possibility that I can learn it and master it. I mean, there is no better feeling than saying, I can't believe I learned this. Or you can actually have a conversation about something that it felt like there was mind blocked and there was no way through. So I think the biggest motivator is understanding that you could understand it, and then you can answer it. You can answer it on your NCLEX, answer it in conversation, and that's it. I think the process of learning it should be motivator enough,
Yeah. It's almost like you turn into a game, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like Super Mario Brothers or Mario Kart, it's difficult, and it's difficult, but it's a game that you have to, like, I guess just practice at it and master it. And I think that's a lot of people think they have to be perfect at something, where it's like, dude,
Oh,
no one's
no.
perfect at it.
Oh, no, no one's God's gift to nursing. You know what you know, and
Mm-hmm.
figure it out. It's a battlefield out there.
Oh,
You have to figure that one out.
yeah, man, there's bombs exploding, code browns, and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, you do what you can with the information you're given and expand as far as you can, but don't beat yourself up. There's so much information out there.
Mm-hmm.
To know everything is just to drive yourself nuts.
Okay, so a few key points to wrap it up. I'd say, well, let me wrap it up for you, and then I'm gonna ask you a question. So
Okay.
the first things first is never look at never say the word can't, right? Like that there's a huge like obstacle in your way. Just take baby steps and always ask yourself, how can I? Even if it's impossible or seems impossible. The second thing is just gamify it, right? Just turn it into a game and just try to nerd out about it. Don't feel like that's the biggest thing that I've been telling myself is like, I had to recreate 900 videos for Simple Nursing. And I'm like, so you never want to label it work. You never want to label work. You always try to be curious about it, or, turn it into something that you're nerding out about. So let's say, like, do you have any tips on, or I guess any takeaways for someone's in a rut right now and they don't know how to get out of this like negative self-talk loop?
Yeah, it would 100% be, if I can advise you of anything, is to fix the narrative in your mind. The moment you say I can't, I actually write about this in my book, which is nuts. If your mind is telling you I can't, you say out loud in your voice so you can hear yourself, yes, I can. You know what I mean? If you say I'm not smart enough, say it out loud. I am smart enough. Look how far I've gotten. What are you talking about? That's what I did. What are you talking about, Linette? What are you talking about? Look where you are.
Yeah, shut down that negative talk.
Shut it down by actually listening to the correct narrative so that you can assimilate into your head what you need to actually be telling yourself.
Yeah.
Put on a song, put on relaxing music, put on a candle,
Yeah.
Take it easy. You'll be fine. I would just say that. Man. Get your mind in a good vibration.
Yeah, because they say, where your focus goes, your energy flows, right?
Oh, I love that. So, yes. Yeah. Tony Robbins.
Do you believe in like in what is it called? Vision boards?
The law of attraction?
Yeah, or even law of attraction. Do you write stuff down and see it where you can, and so you can visualize it? Oh, really? What is it?
Vision board.
Oh, you have a vision board? Oh, man, I want to see it. All right,
you want to?
All right. Yeah.
I will go get it.
Let's bring it out. Wait 1 minute. All right, this commercial break is brought to you by... No, I'm just kidding.
Absolutely. Here it is. It's...
Whoa. It's the funniest part is I've been meaning to do this and I don't do it myself. Whoa, okay, so what do you got on here? Yeah. 15K.
I mean, I literally have like... Oh, yeah. I put weird stuff on here. I put... what to do every day. Thank God every day. Be grateful every day. Like the beginning of the day to the end of the day. And I put these things on here unrealistically all the time, and they happen.
I'm gonna put that out there. Okay.
Yeah.
What's a goal that was on there that actually came to fruition? And like,
the best one.
Oh, what is that?
You
got married to yourself, right?
I did.
No, I'm just kidding.
I did get married to myself. I absolutely did. The best choice I've ever made was that.
That was an Instagram post you made, right? Like
It was. When you decide that you are your best husband and wife.
Yeah. When you decide that you're enough and you love yourself, I think a lot of people just don't love themselves enough, in a sense that, not self-love. I think way too many people on Instagram love themselves too much.
Yes, it's completely different.
But yeah. Self-esteem and actually having that correct narrative that actually, is in line. But,
yes.
Sorry.
For me.
Go ahead. Oh no.
What were you gonna say?
I'm way too excited. No, what were you gonna say for you? What?
You asked me what did I put on there that was unrealistic, and
yeah.
The unrealistic thing is the time frame I gave myself from the time I graduated to the time I got hired. I gave myself like a month and a half, which is so unrealistic with a new license. It happened that way.
And you took your NCLEX.
Yes, I graduated the end of August, so August 20th, 2020.
Okay.
And I studied a month September. I took my NCLEX the beginning of October, and I got hired in November.
Dang. That's
Which
it.
was
Bam.
crazy. I'd
Did
never expected that.
did you ever
That
think
felt,
like, oh man, maybe I'm gonna fail my NCLEX, or maybe I'm not gonna pass, or maybe they're not gonna hire me, or they're not gonna
oh my goodness. Listen to my life is so weird sometimes. I got, they send you like an ATI, and that's the
Yeah,
number that you can assign to do your NCLEX. So
exactly. Yeah.
when I was gonna take it, I had in my head that I wanted to do it October like 16th ish.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went to register, there was no appointments available till like
Exactly.
December, January.
Oh,
And this was on a Wednesday that I got this number.
okay.
And there was a slot open for that very Friday. And I took it.
And what day was that? On
Friday,
the 16th or?
no, Friday,
Oh,
it was
okay.
like the 9th or like the
Oh,
8th.
okay, okay, okay.
So it was like a week or two early. It was like
Dang.
I took it and I passed it. And I did, I don't even know how many questions. I don't know what happened. I got out there. I was like, I failed it. I know I failed it. Why did I do this? And 2 days later, passed. I was like, this is like the best. I was in total shock.
Dang. I think that's the craziest part is that it sounds cliche. It sounds like a bumper sticker or something you put on your wall. It's like where your focus goes, your energy flows. But the compounding effects of just, putting energy out there, and focusing on something, it's weird how things just come to fruition and things
100%.
actually happen. Because
100%.
you probably never thought or you probably never ruminated about like these endless negative self-talks of like, oh, I'm never going to pass this NCLEX, or, oh, I'm never going to get hired. You just focus on the goal of this is going to happen. It's already done almost. I already
I
own it.
literally put it down. I was like, it's going to happen in this day and this time. And then I'm going to do this. Literally the last week of November,
Mm-hmm.
I got a call from a new grad program. They're like, we're interested in you. I'm like, the chances
one
of someone
calls you,
picking
right?
me for a new grad program out of so many people that are like, what? I was like, yes.
That's insane.
Whatever you
That's
say,
insane.
yes.
But yeah, and if you guys don't know, like new grad programs, especially right now, I mean, it's probably different with COVID, but still, no one wants new grads. It's at least in California and New York, from what I know, because they're gonna have to train you, they're gonna have to use extra resources, and they don't have time, especially with the inundation that they have with the hospitals. They don't have time to slow down and train someone new. So that's pretty
Exactly.
crazy that someone reached out to you.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, it was wild. It was wild. It was great. And I'm so grateful for it. And I mean, seriously.
So I'd recommend then starting your vision board and focus on the things that you guys want to happen in your life and get the
never
book.
the other way around.
Oh, what do you mean? Wait, hold on. You froze again. I'm going to, there you go. Okay.
Are you good? Okay. Okay. Am I moving?
No, yeah, you're good. Ding, 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 ding. What do you mean never the other way around?
Never focus on what you don't want.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what the book says too.
Only put into your head what you do want, and never the other way around. Like never say, for example, oh, I really don't want to, get whatever this, or I really don't think that this, never.
Yeah, just because you've spoken into it, now your mind's going to think about it.
Yeah.
And that's what you're going to
I
try.
really hope or the hope word, I really hope I pass, or
Yeah.
it's like so fluffy, like, no, I'm going to pass, and literally say, I'm going to pass. And that's accept it for to be the truth.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing that that one book, The Secret, talked about, in a sense that act like you already have and you already own and possess that thing that you want. Because once you actually have and own it, all the anxiety and everything goes away.
Yes.
It's kind of like, hey, like, oh, I hope I become a U.S. citizen. Like, if you guys live in the United States, and you were born here, you don't have to like worry about like passing an exam and do all this stuff with visa or anything. You already have it. Or it's like, oh, I hope I have water tomorrow. It's like, dude, I don't have. And in the same way, you're gonna be a nurse. You will pass the NCLEX, and you just have to own it. And your mind, I think. So I listened to the psychologist. I know I'm going off on a tangent here. But a psychologist that was talking about like the reasons behind the law of attraction, and it's not like a magical thing where things just attract to you. I think one of the things is that your brain is a natural problem solver. And so if you tell yourself, like there's been studies about people that write down a certain score, like an 1100 on their SAT or something, they put it away, or they look at it every single day, and then they take the SAT and that's 1100. It's like, what?
Yes. Yes.
I think that your mind will trick itself into problem solving. How can I get this 1100? Instead of saying like, oh, I can't do the 11, they're going to be like, oh, okay, like how do I do this? And if you see it every single day on a board, your mind's going to start problem solving on ways to complete that task. And so
there's this famous actor, I think it was Jim Carrey. He wrote himself like a check of like $1 million and gave himself this weird time frame to do it. And just right before the break of the time, he was offered that amount of money for a project he did. And so, you know, I take that with a grain of salt. Anytime that I give myself a goal, no matter how unrealistic it is, I'm like, I'm putting it on there bright red. I don't care how unrealistic it is. If I have to tweak it later, I will, but I'm not going to sell myself short. Don't sell yourself short, you know? I was thinking, you know, to start off, I'll probably maybe start off like home health, maybe, you know, home care, whatever it may be. And I was so fortunate to start off in a hospital. Like everyone that I was like, when I would tell them I'm only applying to hospitals, they're like, Linette, like you have a new license, maybe you should apply here. I'm like, so you tell me to apply where I don't want to work first instead of for me to apply where I do want to work first? Where does this make sense? I'm not doing that. And here I am, and I got it, you know?
Nice.
Don't sell yourself short. You never know.
That's amazing. Well, unless you have anything else to add, I'd recommend you guys picking up Linette's book. It was The Lifeline. Is it Lifeline Nurse or just Lifeline?
It's called Lifeline, and then it'll say Difficult Life Changes Made Simple by me, Linette Santana. Yeah.
And how big is it?
All cute.
Yeah, it's small enough, right? Or is it?
I actually have it here. It's not that small.
Take a look. Oh, dang, you are a writer. Holy moly, look at that. Nice. And how can they get it? It's on
Amazon.
Oh, okay, very cool. So I'll include the link. So if you guys are having trouble in nursing school, maybe you're a burnt out nurse, this book will help you to create better habits and strengthen some foundations of your life. Little tweaks go a long way. So.
Oh, yes.
So next episode, we're going to talk about some NCLEX tips that actually helped you, right? Is that what we're going to do? Okay, cool. So we'll get into that next. Thank you, guys. Oh, and let me do my sign off here. Thank you guys so much for listening to the Code Blue podcast. Don't forget to download Holly Blue, the one and only nursing app for nurses created by nurses.